Hi, people. What's up? Just wanted to see if you thought I was out. I wanted to try that. It was kind of fun. It was kind of stupid. Y'all thought I didn't have any vocals, but I did. But I did. Because why the hell not? Greetings. Good evening, people. Welcome to another live fine show or mediocre show. Depends on how you look at it. Um, is it mediocre? I don't know. I, dude, trying to figure out best place to do this here. This is probably pretty good. So, how y'all been? What y'all been? What y'all been up to? Y'all been building anything? Y'all been flying anything? Apparently, you have. Seen the videos. Um, Looking pretty good out there in the real world. um, I saw some good stuff out there. I'm very pleased with some of the I don't know, all that crap that was going on, like good Lord God. Maybe I should actually up it like this. Is this better? It's starting to sound like Barry fucking White over here. I actually can't tell the difference. Oh, maybe it's just my speakers. I don't know. We'll leave it like that. Anyway, so how y'all been? Y'all been good? I came into the show thinking like it was going to turn out to be something wild, and I'm like, now I'm anticipating. Well, I don't know what it was going to turn out to be because I got this thing in my head. It's right here in my face. Um, I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way, and you guys don't hear. You guys don't hear as well if I'm off center. This is see, I'm like solo because this thing is so good at aiming that like if I'm not here on spot, I'm a little bit off. So I didn't know if this was really going to be good for this. I thought about like, yeah, maybe not. You know, I'm like, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing. I'm probably going to do this here and try this and see what happens. I took something off. Can you notice the difference? You notice any difference at all? It doesn't really sound any different either. And I'm sitting there being quiet trying to listen for it. And I'm not going to hear it because I'm not listening. Oh, well. Maybe I'll bring it back because why the hell not? You don't know. You don't know. I don't know. I might bring a noise gate up into this bitch. What do you think? Is that a good idea too? Oh, that's probably not. I'm not going to do that. They'll leave it like that. Okay. So anyway, welcome to the show. Y'all been good? Y'all been good? Y'all been getting some flights? Like I said, I've seen some of the flights out there. They're looking pretty good, I gotta admit. I've seen some folds that were impressive, I might add. Um, it left me kind of feeling like I ought to be partaking of this, so because the last couple shows really haven't been building anything, just talking about generic crap nobody really cares about, and like just this very thing. So I was gonna build a couple things tonight because, like I said, these videos got me. I don't know, tasting, uh, tantalizing. I don't really know the good word for it, but I was feeling it. So because I was feeling it, I was thinking like maybe we should build one or two things here, and maybe we should enjoy and I gotta remember if I'm building, I really shouldn't actually have the freaking. I really shouldn't go with this mic because it's in my face. I'm probably gonna bash it as I try to get this thing down. But do not ship. And I don't know why I did it that way, but I'm trying to like. I don't know. But anyway, and I'm using scissors instead of cutting with my wheel. It's all off. So I was thinking because I had this sheet and I had this creation. Yeah, I remember y'all flew with me on the shorts for the Diablo, the hybrid original type, which we call the Diablo Hot. I felt complied to build another one of those because the Diablo is a very cool aircraft that NASA's builds. NASA's has been going through it, so you'll have to bear with him. He apologizes through me through us for not being on the show. It's life stabbing him a little bit. He'll be back, but just got to get over a couple humps here. That's all. So he said he wanted to send out big shout out to everybody. Like trying to get back in here, trying to get the voices. He's still working the database. But like I said, life is smacking him a little bit right now. So he's all right. And he will be back in there. Dalton's about the same way. KIA's he's his work schedule, man. I swear to God, I gotta get that boy on the show. He gets close, but then like we get separated by things and stuff. So, and I said like, you don't have to be on the flagship. You don't have to be on our primary show. We could do paper planes and more. We could do paper flight and more. Rather, we could do anything. D, if you're listening, if you're chilling, like, come on, man. We gotta get on, man. We gotta get on, especially because my freaking D-Day is like got me stressed out, and the camera's doing that shit again. I got it in the same freaking center. I don't know why. It's probably because I changed everything out in the inside of the case, and now it's all crazy and stuff. I apologize for the glitching. That's not actually part of the background. That's actually the camera doing that crap. Well, my boy Nassus needs to get me on them cameras. Yeah, I can buy one, but if he's got one to give me, I mean, I'll take it, That's why I'm like waiting patiently. But yeah, D, like, come on, man. Let's see if we can pick a date and stick with it. Maybe we can get together and fly something, because that'd be cool. Maybe I could find a job down there somewhere so I ain't got to work here no more, because damn it, man. I really hate losing my summers, and I'm about to. It's driving me nuts. And the thing about it, people, is like, I work night shifts. I could work the day, but even with the day, I'd still, like, I might get in time for you to do the show. And I plan on changing the schedule around somehow so you would get at least a live show, if not more recorded shows. So bear with us. You'll still get some activity, not like other summers where it just shuts down. If not out of one of us, out of me at least. So even if I got to record it, hoping maybe I can fly it. I mean, you figure if I got all that wakey time, I could probably do something. But like, man, night shift, 12 hours, takes a lot out of you, So anyway, wouldn't be a show without a show. So we got Diablo. Diablo was making it cool. And I was impressed by how Diablo was like turning out. And Diablo is pretty basic, okay? So don't go expecting anything fantabulous. It's one of the reasons why Nassus was like so like I know you work it and it's really cool, but like it's so basic. I don't know if I want to stick with it. And he does have more advanced planes now. The only thing is Diablo makes for a great test bed, and I think now this new class 2, class 3, class whatever we're going to stick with for the name of the numbers. I think it's got him rethinking his strategy about like that, because we're not like putting him out to pasture as much anymore, so it's a little bit different. And Diablo, I said, Diablo, basic. It's really basic. This sheet is a basic sheet. It's like an A4, right? The 8.5 by 11 for those of you ignorant Americans out there, cut in half. So this is A4, right? Am I saying the right thing? I'm sorry. I just got to make sure I say the right thing, because A4 is a standard, right? Everywhere but this stupid place. Yes. Okay. So it's close to it. A little over 8 and 11.5. I mean, it makes me wonder if you guys in the rest of the world want to like cut it or something. You couldn't cut it because it's already longer than this sheet is. See, Americans are so freaking backwards. But I don't have the capacity. I mean, I got the sheets, but I don't really want to waste them by cutting the bigger sheet down to match an A4 that you guys have. I'm sorry. It's just I don't have a lot of them there. But I do have a lot of these to work with. Let me make sure this is whole. It is, yeah, it's 11. Yeah, it's 8.5. Yeah, so it's 8.5 by 11. So it is like the 220 millimeter by 277 millimeter. I mean, that's an approximate, I guess. I'm not doing a thing on there, but I'm going by what the A4 is, and normally it'd be an A4. I think it would work in an A4. So if you have an A4, the rest of the world, go ahead and cut you an A4 in half. That's what this is. This is an A4 sheet. or an 8.5 by 11, and you just cut it in half to get that. So, and then you fold it in half. You saw me do. And like I said, don't expect much out of this one. I mean, it's cool, but it's also extremely basic. Oh, but most importantly, what makes Diablo the hybrid, and Diablo itself is not this way, but these are close to damn cardstock, really close. It's a very thicker bonded paper, thicker gauge paper. So if you're trying it out with a notebook paper, loose leaf paper, copy paper or something, it'll work, but it won't work like this. The one that you saw in the video, the hybrid original type, that hot model, the EXT, the HOT, whatever I wanted to call it, but I wanted to call it the HOT because it's a lot better, was made out of this. So anyway, so you just you fold it. It's real basic, but that's what makes it a great test bed, which is why I felt like he should keep it. And you just fold like you would expect to fold this plane. Matter of fact, I don't even take the tip. You see this down here? I don't even take the tip all the way down, because I figure like if you do that, it's thicker bond. It makes this paper a lot harder to like play with, especially later. Got it there. You can play with this thing. Like I was really planning on playing with the back end of it, so I didn't play with the nose when I built the HOT. And since I'm building the HOT, I'm sticking it like this on purpose. I'm gonna try something here. Bear with me. This is probably gonna suck. I think I did this. Yeah, this is gonna suck. I can't do that shit. I am sorry. I should have went with the headset for this. I knew I was gonna build. I don't know why. I just wanted to use the mic because I haven't used the mic in like forever. I mean, seriously, I haven't not used the mic in forever on these damn shows, so that's why I was doing it. Forgive me. But anyway, so, because now it's in my bloody way. You can't see, but it's like right here. It's right here. All these times I do these shows. And the thing about these cardstocks, too, is like if you use this type of paper, you can only hold it so many times before it ends up like, if you crease it especially, before it ends up like becoming rippable and thereby breakable. So you got to watch it when you do that crap too. And if you were curious, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a phase, and he knows that. I had actually built a phase this style, and then said no, it's not because of well, this didn't turn out right. It looks like it, and that's it. And it's like a totally different aircraft. I mean, the phases as they run down through the numbers is 1 through 10. I mean, they're different in their own right. So calling them phases by themselves is also just like wrong. But I stick with it. So wing pocket on top. Because it's particular design actually is persistent about the stress of the wing creating the fold, so it's important to do that. Now the key, well, is basically it already, but the key is more like getting the IVPAC pins, and yeah, it's kind of hot, but see, what is it? It's April 20 something or others. It's Earth Day. No matter where you are on the earth, you're part of Earth Day. So try to forget all the political bullshit, no matter what your government's doing, right or wrong. But let's face it, it's probably wrong. We'll get together and make plans together and forget about your worries and your strife. The key, I think, to making a Diablo, you can ask NASA this, and I firmly believe that, though, is it slants. This is not a straight fold. If you're trying to make an actual honest to God Diablo, you must build the wing, the fold on here. This has to be slanted. So your fuselage is like this. Like here, it's only, you see it's a fingertip, but back here, got a lot more finger going on from the keel. So it's way more important. Although this one is subtle, very subtle. Hello there. That's interesting set of characters you've chosen right there. So anywho, and it turns out to be nice, bright and orange. But this is really a basic plane that you can use for contests in school, in a warehouse, other places, impress your friends. Especially if it's all bright and colorful, because why the hell not? So, okay. This right here would be a Diablo. It's simple enough. I mean, like really, and again, once he likes, I mean, literally, you don't have to do anything to it. That's what he would call his Diablo, and you see why he's like, okay, well, that's why I want to get rid of it because it's really basic. But again, makes a pretty good warrior. I feel like I don't need permission from him to do this because he wants to get rid of it, but I'm showing you how to build a hybrid. And again, if you've got the paper, you're already building the hybrid because it'll be a lot stronger. So and you're the way it is too, like I'd like to say it's I don't know, it's extremely stable and flyable considering the paper is like the way it is. It's a nice piece. So anyway, make a jet. I mean, how do you propose we? They all. I like that in my mind. I picture them all as jets. How about that? Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure. I'm trying. Really, I'm honestly trying not to overdo it because I'm scared the damn thing's gonna like, destroy itself. But anyway, so now, now to do this the right way, to make hybrid original type, you take a cut here. You kind of about split at the wingtip. Cut it all the way back to your slant. Okay. And you take this and you cut these. This is kind of dependent on how you want it to end up looking. Okay, but obviously you see you got your wing. This is obviously going to be the rest of your tail. Now we're going to make it true. I want to make it as true as possible, so bear with me. And like normally, I don't know if you stuck with me on the designs that you've seen recently that we do. I've showed you kind of how to build a tailplane that's a lot more structurally stronger and keeps up with the rest of the aircraft in structural integrity. But this one's already strong, so it's going to be a little bit more basic. But bear with me, because the plane flies good. You've seen the flights. So anywho, got that there. Ooh, I can't do it that way. I got to do it like this. You're going to want to cut it like this because if you fold it back and cut it that way, you're going to end up cutting along a line that follows a slant. You don't want to follow the slant. So you want to follow the keel because you do want it along the straight line. So you about want to take this a little more than halfway. Like say this is like you see the length here from here to here. Yeah, this is approximately halfway, and I'm telling you this because I'm not going to measure it. Do it on the fly, makes it better. I would say about like out here. Clip it all off. Okay. Got your scrap. You don't need that. And take it and put it to, I'd say about halfway of this, like literally here from here to here. Take it to the halfway point, cut it, and then bring it to the base again. About there. It begins to look a little bit goofy, but you'll see. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in a minute. Fix that in a minute. Because you have to have that. Because you have to have the vertical fin. I kind of messed that up. Then you take that and cut most of that away. This isn't exact, but I did want to do this, so I just wanted to see how it would turn out. It looks kind of goofy that way, but so then you got it. Kick the wings up a little bit. Make sure your tailplane's a little bit flat. These look a little stupid. They really do. I apologize. That looks kind of corny, but 20 is what we do. These actually turn out to be kind of they're in jeopardy the entire like life of the aircraft anyway. So like having them smaller or not having them at all is probably a good thing. So anyway, and that's about it. And you see, like you have the whole aspect there: tailplane, vertical fin, which is really small, and your wings. And that is like your interpretation of how you want to build that. Totally up to you. But that is how the plane is made. And I say like that because you can make this, you can make these cuts, you can make your trailing edge, you can make the tailplanes, you can make the fins, any size you want, any chord, any sweep, anything you want. I would even say you could go so far as to, I gotta do something here. You could go so far as to make it, let me make that a bigger thing there. There you go. You could go so far as to make it like this is butterflied separation. You could cut it deeper into the fuselage and drop it down here so it's actually not along the same plane as the wing. Interesting mode. I don't recommend it because these aircraft don't have a tendency to enjoy that as much, but and try to keep these as vertical as possible, even though chances are if you fly this plane because of their size, they're going to rip off. And the interesting thing about it is the only way this plane really turns out cool is if it's like this and they turn out that small. I did make one with the fins almost as big as the tailplane. Actually, I think I might have made them bigger than the tailplane. It borrowed some of the wing. I lost the plane. It landed in the water, so I can't show you that one. I think. Or it might be at work. Maybe I didn't lose it. But anyway, cut into the wing. So the wing went a little bit back. Imagine this a little bit more forward. This a little bit smaller because the fin was like either the same size or bigger. That don't work. This works. And you saw the flights. And I mean, there were more flights than I showed you, but I showed you the better ones. So there were some worse ones. I don't know. I might have not showed you all the better ones, but the better ones were out of the planes that look like this. So while you can play with all this, you can make this bigger, make this smaller, make this bigger, make this smaller. You get what I'm saying? All of these cuts are totally onto your whims, which is why I won't give you any approximations as to what the size is. Make them as you see fit and be surprised. Yeah, they're not, it's not, matter of fact, what I'm going to do, just to be a lout. I call it butterflying. It's not exactly butterflying, but it makes your wings on a different plane. So the end result is you'll probably have a little bit more pitch control, but of course you're not doing fly-by-wire hydraulics or anything like that. So I just wanted to give it a little bit squared more appearance. I do like the wing sweep look, but yeah. So there it is. You tape it. I think I had tape that was masking tape, so this will be different because this will be held together by like Scotch tape, which is arguably better. Because if this turns out bad in any way, it'll probably be because it's overweight. If you're building it with notebook paper or copy paper, it'll probably be underweight. But it should balance out because the whole plane will be built a lot lighter than it would normally be if you had built it with that stuff. So that being said, you're building this one. God, the glitching is bad. I don't understand how I played with this for so long and it didn't glitch, and all of a sudden it's like going crazy. Anybody know why the hell a camera would do that? Anyway, so yeah. God, I did that now that way. It does like it. It does like to be taped, but you're welcome to fly it without taping it. You can even tape it and then X-Acto knife that off and unsplit it if you want. So, but there you go. That's like a basic Diablo HOT, and built as is, the way this one is, it will fly because it has. So you have that as an option. But now um, doing something. I mean, screw it. I could show you a variety of that. So like I made it look a lot more traditional. They allow more aircraft that look like this, where they have a little bit of a sweep back and nothing on their tailplane, or either that, or they kind of duplicate that, and that could be done too. However, if y'all have ever played with this, if y'all have ever done this, you have noted, you probably noted anyway, that paper aircraft don't really like everything to be swept back like this. It's really hard to get most of them to work that way. So keeping that in mind, this one does work like this, but you really probably don't want to sweep this back to match this, or even more severe. But you're welcome to try it. Who knows? Maybe it'll work. I'm really tempted to do just that, because that's one thing. I think I did it on accident with one of them, because I was gonna make that the vertical fin, so it ended up being like the. Actually, I forgot about that too. I do like to do this. Just a little added thing back there, because it doesn't need a full rudder, because you already got rudder action going on up there. Even though, again, even with this stronger plane, you got to watch out for these. They will like to rip that off. So, so there's that. And what I did was I did the sweep back. It came to here, but I left the rudder on the keel, the true rudder back. So the cut would start like here, and the sweep back would go to the wingtip. So you'll notice how far out they stick. Like basically almost the entire span, 2/3 of the span of the wing. You need that. If you break it down any less, they won't be. They have to be a substantial part of the aircraft, or they're not going to function well, well enough for the aircraft to function well enough. If you understand what I'm saying, like you can't make them. The ratio, their ratio on the size of the plane has got to be just so. If it's if it's bigger, the plane is more prone to doing other things like pitch and roll and yaw because of this. And if it's smaller, it might as well not even be on board. It really is just for looks, which is okay, but I don't think you want that. I think you want it to be set up a lot more. So just something to keep in mind, because there's a lot of play that goes on with these aircraft. There's a lot of play that you can do with this aircraft. And that's why. So fix it as you see fit. Do with it what you see fit. It'll turn into something cool. I mean, as long as you're using this as a base, it will turn into something cool. Be be prepared, but be surprised. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Don't expect too much. You saw the flights. It can be great if you're using copy paper or notebook paper. I don't know. I don't give it as much as I do with the cardstock, because the cardstock seems to freaking work. The other version I did of it, and sit along with me, I'm going to do another one. The other version I did of it, God, I probably like really quiet while I'm up here, ain't I? You probably can't hear me. Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a moaner. Goddamn, microphone's really good as long as you're not directly in front of it. Um, damn, I did it again. I'm always so adapted, like I always crease stuff, but I forget like you can't make too many of those errors while you're playing with a plane that made out of cardstock, because the more creasing you do, the easier it is for these to fold back, fold forth, fold back, fold forth, and then the aircraft um is in jeopardy of like becoming structurally weak along those folds. Although you've got cats like Matt, you can send it to OAE, you can send it to Powerhouse, and they may just be able to like structurally enhance the aircraft for you. So uh that's probably a pretty good thing. But anyway, I can't droop snoot this. I mean, you can, but if you do droop snoot this, you'll start taking away from the area back there that you have to play with for all that empennage that you're trying to give the plane that makes it so cool. So I highly recommend doing this with cardstock. I think maybe it's pricier, but it'll probably be more pleasing to you than just doing it out of notebook paper or copy paper, because those planes, you know what? Scratch that. No, I'm not going to say that. I think perhaps you probably get as much as you want out of it if you use copy paper, because I have, and Diablo works that way. So all you're doing is adding stuff to the back. The only thing I would be questioning about with those aircraft is the tailplane back here. Like, I would probably try to do something more like what I've showed you in the past about strengthening those. Like, you strengthen the front end of a regular plane, like when you make your regular folds, that first triangle, you want to do that back there to make them stronger. So you probably cut into this thing's length by making these square, and cutting into the wing by making these squares, so you can get these triangle folds to make that stronger when you're using copy paper. Cardstock, you don't need to do that. These things are just as strong and will last just as well on their own. So I got a date again here. He needs to join me for another. He needs to join me for another one a day, or hold another one a day for all of y'all. So you build a plane a day, and then maybe just maybe you can get to the point where you'll have a force. You'll have an entire corps. You'll have a fleet. That's the word I was looking for. Fleet. You'll have a fleet. So let's see what we can do here. I mean, it's so basic when you start out with this thing. So, Jesus, I'm rolling it here, bro. I'm going to stick with that anyway. I don't really know. It's, God, man, this thing is so slick on this side. That's what she said. Hey, did you notice? I didn't lose my fingernail. So anyway, I'm cheating. I'm using the scissors to actually maintain it, because it is kind of thick up here when you're using the cardstock. So I don't know why it worked so well with the other one and it didn't work with this one. Okay, there you go. So you got that there. All right, we're gonna do what I said don't do on that other one. Man, this one's even less of a sweep than that one is. Still looks like a Diablo though. Okay. Now what we gonna do here? Go all exotic on this one. Make it look a little bit more rhomboid. Make it a little bit more like a recent fighter jet, as opposed to ye olde fighter jets. This is very, very tricky. That's why I'm being kind of quiet, because I don't want this to be all messed up. I had to do this with the other ones before too, so this is nothing new. You see how I'm doing this? Sorry, I'm not commentating, but this is kind of like a questionable thing. And I actually did this once with one of these, where I cut it and left the tail like this. So it looks doofy. Flies really good though. So now it's a little bit more, even more advanced than you would expect it to be. I'm not going to do it with this one because I don't want it to look like that. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So how about that? So that's, again, this is just giving you an example of how you can play with the cuts on the aircraft. You got a regular swing back with a regular tailplane or a regular empennage that you're kind of used to seeing, where your fin is a little bit, swept back. Boy, that wing is in the way. Fin's a little swept back, tailplane straight, got a little bit of rounded edge to the rudder, and the wings kind of stop the way they would because of a sweep back. This one, a little bit more rhomboided there, where you got trailing edge sweeps forward. This sweeps forward to the wing. It actually kind of matches. I kind of like that better because it's the symmetricality works with the aircraft a little bit more. Um, little stealth aspect for those of y'all that really get rip roaring about stealth in airplanes. It doesn't really happen. So you got that there. You got that there. I'm going to tape it just a hair. Probably a little better because the ones I built at work I always use masking tape, which is heavier inherently, but not by much. And yeah, so yeah. So hey Robert, what's going on, brother? How you been doing this week, this month? Nice to see you stopping on by at work. I'm sure. So yeah, there's the two. And like I said, totally up to you how you play with them. Um, but this is just like I said, same way, same cuts, same kind of aircraft, but you can get that. Um, as you flying wing people, since Powerhouse made a showing here, that's like a primary. This is a good way to show it because like when you're dealing with cuts, you can make countless planes out of the same plane. Uh, Origami artists, obviously, when you get the folds going and you do individual folds and keep folding, you obviously create different aircraft as well. But cutting, even if you origami it and you can cut it, and I know purists won't allow that to happen, but if you're if you're a tinker, you're a tweaker like us, the cuts just change the exact same aircraft. So I mean, like I could change this one, I could change this one by cutting more out of it or cutting something into it, you know. So it isn't as special as it seems. And one of the things I thought about doing, I haven't done yet, but I did think about this, was these can get true winglets. They don't have winglets right now at all, but you can take like your little leading edge here and cut with an X-Acto or something, just cut a little bit off here into the leading edge so you can flip the wing pocket up and create a true winglet. Now, it wouldn't be an honest to God true winglet because it wouldn't be on the wing tip up, but like a tip up, but it would be back. And with paper airplanes, if you're doing a pocket, that actually affects it a little bit worse because a lot of the stress put on the wing, if you're creating the wing pocket, once you created the fold, you'll know that you have a lot of stress in that wing, usually causes the wing to sweep back up like this. You take away some of that stress, and as a matter of fact, at the most stressful point by cutting that off. So bear that in mind should you choose to do that, that you'll be losing that. Um, it's a serious thought you got to keep in your head when you do that sort of thing because that could be the whole reason why your plane flies as good or as bad as it does. Is it worth testing? Not if your plane is already pretty good. I wouldn't test it if your plane is good. But if it sucks, you're not really going to affect anything. I'd say go ahead and give it a shot. You know, so. But anyway, there you go. Your Diablo hybrid original type, just like Mama used to make it. And yeah, there we go. Make some of your own. Make a fleet of your own. Tell me what you think. I mean, like I've already kind of created this in lieu of sending these off to NASA so he can rebuild. I know he likes the plane. I know he doesn't really want to keep the plane because he's always been that way about Diablos, but it's a cool bird, so I'd like to think he won't get rid of it for various reasons. I think it's probably any plane that's like that basic and yet you can play with it this much to advance the design, I say keep it. I mean, if nothing else for testing, you know, it makes a great test bed. It's how phases got along so well. This is a good example of it. Not too expensive to make. I mean, cardstock it would be, but he already started out the way he did with the ones that he had. So if you have that kind of plane, yeah, you might as well just stick with regular copy paper and see how it goes, see how it works. There's ways to shorten it. It looks sleek the way it does because of its length. And really good, of course, like it doesn't look as dopey. He used to think it was dopey initially because of how it ended up being shortened. And you saw, like, before you make the cuts to make the tailplane, there's a lot of stuff back here. The wing tip is like really super long. It's like there's a lot of play back here. Well, you build a tailplane and all of a sudden It doesn't look like that somewhere. Now it looks like you got a bird. You know, it looks like you got something cool going on. So, bearing that, I told him, like, stick with it. And you've got a plane that you can test all kinds of technologies on. You know how it's going to fly straight out the gate with basic folds, basic cuts, nothing, nothing much special to do. It's your ultimate test bed. You almost always should have one like that in your force in some capacity, no matter what it is. Whether you would fly it in combat or not, it still makes a great test bed. So, but yeah, there you go. The Diablo HOT. Diablo Hot. A little punny, but I always like to come up with. You'll notice we come up with some good acronyms. Been around the military my whole life, so acronym building is what I do. Yeah. Thanks for sitting with me as I built those. I'm sure you probably kind of enjoyed it. Go out there. You've seen the flights. I might be able to post another one if I haven't got it up there, and you can see like the plane flies good. If you build it on a cardstock, I can definitely swear by it. If you build it on a copy paper or notebook paper, it'll probably still fly just as good because original Diablos fly good, and they're built out of copy paper. So, yeah, just plain white sheets. So you will get the bird out of it. Matter of fact, come to think of it, if you're using A4, you'll probably have it better because an A4 being the longer length than a standard 8.5 by 11 American Stupid, you'll have a lot more plane from nose to tail to play with. So back here, you'll have a lot more to play with. Literally, you could fold this over. You could make bigger tails instead of essentially what becomes fin strake fins. It'll be something more than this. It'll be something like if you had the copy paper, you could fold this over and make this enforced like it should be. I mean, it can be done with these. It can be done with your basic. You just have to decrease your first folds in the front. And there's easy ways to go about that. And then bring your wing pockets forward. Bear with me. I can show you what I mean. I'm sorry. That's probably not as easily understood unless I show you that. But I'll show you that real quick. Not real quick. You end up like folding it. I always end up taking folding. But what I mean by that is it's simple to alter the plan form of the aircraft by just like the droop snoot that I was talking about. The technology there that like just put your nose down. Gives it a recce nose, even though of course you don't have a camera in there, but I always like to picture it like that. It's like that's where the cameras would go. Aircraft from days of yore, if they had the like photo reconnaissance in the nose, it would look like that, like an RF4 or an RF5 or anything that had reconnaissance up there. But anyway, you'll note it, like their noses looked like they drooped, looked like they had something in there. So they were packing. So anyway, same premise, same idea. What you're doing is you got. I'm doing it again. I don't want the words on the outside of the aircraft. I want them on the top, not the outside, so it doesn't mix with the writing. But you got to fold it this way first. But anyway, so to do what I'm saying, so if you want more play back here, because you got more expansion there, but you still want a pretty good sweep while still maintaining the exact same length of the plane, show you what I'm talking about. What you do is you don't fold your initial triangle all the way. Well, you don't sweep it all the way. Like this, if you did that, what you did before, you would have a full triangle there, right? Okay. So don't do that. Like the droop snoot doesn't it uses the principle, but it uses a cut to get the principle, okay? It can do that, but you'd have to play with your initial cuts on the triangle. By that, I mean to get the droop snoot, you would fold the initial triangle and then cut another one off the tip. You'd cut that triangle off, like right there in front of my finger. You'd cut that off after this got folded, but then you would fold that down. It would get the droop snoot, but it would cause more of a sweep back to your wing pocket. The leading edge would be lengthened. You don't want that. So what you're doing with this one is you're taking the fold, and while you're going straight to your nose tip, right here, you're not taking this all the way down to the body. What you're doing is you're taking it like here. You're off angling it. It's not 45 degrees. It's like 38. It's something less, because if you can see, you can kind of tell that right here. You see that? Yeah, see that little crease? That's where it would have been had I folded the traditional triangle, but I kept it back, so now I'm gaining, say, like 2 centimeters, say a centimeter, say 5 millimeters. I don't know what that is. Half inch. Okay, it's some kind of, but you're gaining that, which will translate out into a longer slice once you fold your next triangle into the wing. So we'll take it here, duplicate that triangle first, because you don't want to make that one and then have to like try to match it up. Got this here. And yeah, you lose a little bit. You kind of lose a little bit of weight because you're not putting it all the way down, but the plane makes up for it. So then you simply just take it down to the body here. Now, if you can see, you can't tell kind of, but like you kind of can tell, because you see where the wing sweep, you've altered the wing sweep now. You've altered the leading edge chord. Like instead of it sweeping back here, now it only sweeps up to here. So you got this much more play room that you wouldn't have had, because your play room before started here. Now it starts up here. So you almost gained double what you would have on the initial triangle fold. This is probably old hat to a few of y'all, but I'm showing you some basic paper plane mods on how to change any design without actually altering the design too much. Like your inherent plan form, you eyeball it and you look at it and you'll still think, oh, that's that plane. And it's not, but it is. Like I would never actually call this a Diablo because of what I just did, but you could get Diablo-like performance out of it. But see, now I got like my whole finger's worth of like, you see, I got 4 fingers worth of playroom at the end of the leading edge sweep. Didn't have that here, only had 3. I didn't know my fingers were that small. But anyway, the rest of this you can build the same way. You can build it as is. I guess I should date code this one too. I don't care till the day I die. I'm a firm believer of you better date code your aircraft so you know how old it is. How are you going to know that you have a 30-year-old plane, a 10-year-old, 5-year-old plane? You don't put a date on it. I think it's important to know. But other than that, I'm going to kind of turn it into Diablo because it's showing you like what you can play with here. So this would be considered like a Diablo family. Would I think it's a Diablo? I'd leave this up to NASA's interpretation. Roll, roll, roll. Come on, roll. You know you want. Okay, there you go. How many years and how many times you fold these freaking planes like this and you don't even. Yeah, so now, and see, initially, of course, you're looking at a pretty gorky looking aircraft. I mean, this thing doesn't look as cool. Diablo regularly didn't look as cool, admittingly. It's so basic, but it's so cool. And anyway, so now like you're getting dangerously close to flying bus, you know, but it's better than that. It's better than that. Oh my God, Toyota, what's up? You still want that 332, huh? Huh. Huh. Let me give you the 332-11. How about that? It's a joke, kind of. I mean, it has been built, but the -11 is the actual bigger bird. So, after you've got this, now, like, you got all this room to play. Whereas this one, like, okay, you got a wing sweep back there. You got a wing sweep. You got a compound wing sweep because it goes back against the grain. So it's a little bit rhomboided. No. We're doing something different on this one. See, this one could be true rhombus, probably in both cases. So what we're going to do here, because we've got all this space to play with, I can take it fully back and I can take it fully there onto this here. Let's do this. Looks goofy, doesn't it? So then we go. Now the reason I'm cutting right there instead of actually cutting down the fold is because I wanted the angle to be a little bit on the true rudder, the back of the keel, the back of the fuselage, and I wanted to be able to follow this because I like the angle better, because I'm still going to cut the little angle at the very tip of the back end, because again, I like doing that. A lot of the planes that you have that glide like this, if you have any aircraft that like to glide, they seem to enjoy this, and you can play with all these, what we call the USRS and the DSRS, the downward slope or upward slope rudder settings. All that really is wherever your fuselage rudder starts, this area, back behind your tailplane to the keel, as we call it, the bottom edge is the keel. You can take your scissors and from any angle, you can cut all of this 180 degrees using the plane's, the actual wing plane as your pivot point. You can pivot all the way across it like that. So like you can cut this angle, like here, which is really extreme, but you can also like cut it back and end up with a tail stinger like this. And believe me, something that subtle really changes the aircraft's dynamic. I highly recommend you play around with that, because you can discover a great many things about a plane that just did not work and get it to work on that simple cut alone. So like it's amazing what that does. That little bitty thing does. But most planes that I've dealt with, or gliders that I built that have stuff like that little piece cut off. So I always try to do that. But anyway, so we'll cut that about in halfway. Remember, we're making the tailplane here. Okay, I'm not entirely sure this is going to work out the way I meant it because of the way that is, but yeah. No, it's just okay. It's okay, because what we're going to do is cut this off. This is gone. This isn't like some early warning electronic piece of crap on the aircraft. It's gone. See, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go like this here. We're going to take this forward, and we're going to give it a little bit of a hybrid going on there, where it's got the hybrid rhombus cut. I'm going to get rid of most of that, because what I'm going to do here is, I can't do that. I'm going to have to do this Scheisse mit Käse. That might look a little stupid in the end, but I think I'm going to get what I want out of this. I can increase. Oh, damn. All right, hold on. I can still increase this. Because what I really should have done here was made a bigger leading edge. If you wanted to look cooler, you want to try to like watch your edges. I mean, like seriously, how you cut this is really going to depend on how cool you make your aircraft look. So keep that in mind when you're trying to build it. Like, hey, how cool would it be if it had this? How cool would it be if it had that? And again, this is a very small tail. I wouldn't recommend putting your fin code on there. It's more like a strike, if anything, but it does help the aircraft out. But see, all of that is possible because of the length of the aircraft I gave it by doing what I did early on. So now, I got a full rhombus, almost a full rhombus wing, and a full rhomboid going on in the tailplane itself. This one, not so, it's subtle, it's there. This one actually turned out to be more subtle, but you can see the separation. Like there's not so much separation between wing and tailplane there. And this will be more susceptible to the wind while it flies. So chances are it's going to likely try to meet up with the wing, like in flight. The wing will be more stable because of this, but this will try to kick up, so it'll actually travel more along the plane during the flight. Like it'll be in line with the wing. One of the reasons why I say you could cut this and make this drop down so it's down here, not on the wing plane, but I don't recommend it. think you should test it, but I don't recommend it. I don't think you're going to end up enjoying what the plane can do if you did that sort of thing. You could also, a good thing to do with these would probably be to tape down their leading. Matter of fact, I think I did that, did I not? Because they end up so poofy that you could see that you could probably get a lot more out of it if you tape this down. And I believe I did that. You have to check the video or check my examples of the planes that I built before, but yeah, see, so, and that was made possible. There's a lot more, looks like there's a lot more separation there, and the wing still looks a lot better now, right? Didn't look like it was cheesy dopey when it first started out. And I mean, like, to a degree, these look pretty slick. This one looks even slicker, or it looks just as slick, if not more so than those, because it's got the actual rhombus. It ends like that instead of ending with a reverse sweep. This ends up, because it's so subtle, it ends up most looking like just like a straight back. But see, with your cuts, 3 examples. This one just adds an added fold to give it more oomph, as it were. And yeah, you got a cool plane. So again, showing you all the possibilities you can do with just one half sheet of paper and a Diablo dream, as it were. Fly them, enjoy them. These things are pretty hot. These things are pretty hot. Obviously, I've not flown these before. Just made them in front of you. These are really good aircraft. These are tight aircraft. These things are capable of good flights. And I mean, I might have even right now made total pieces of crap, or I might have made something that'll fly really good. If you followed along, you can build one like that and tell me, did it work or did it not work? I don't know if it worked. I think they will. I'm really anxious to see that one because I haven't done that one like that before. As usual, I'm anxious to see all of them. But, I mean, I would definitely think about trying the ones where I said, like, the plane drops down. And by that, of course, I mean, like, this part of the angle, drop that down below the rest of it. But, yeah, give these planes a shot. I think there's something special. I think there's something to this. And let us know what you think. Let us know how these planes are going to go. See how easy it is to build a fleet? You don't worry about whether or not the plane's actually going to suck or not, because you're going to have a bunch of them already. I built 3. It's only 2 sheets of paper, and I've got 3 aircraft, and I could build the 4th. So it's pretty easy to do. Just like if it don't work, don't get mad at it. Build more. You'll get it. So yeah. Thanks for sitting with me. That's all I got for you tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Hope y'all actually use that. Build something. Build that. Create those aircraft. Tell me what you think. Show me a video or 2. Let me see how they fly. Let me see how yours fly. I'll see if I can show you how mine fly, and we can compare notes. But that's a pretty good jet, as it were. I would never call it a jet. It's not like I built a prop. Nobody ever asked to build a prop. But hey, whatever. I digress. You know, you're building the plane, so build the plane. Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Keep in mind, please, this is IVPAC channel. This is not my channel. This is not any individual member's channel. It's where we all put our stuff. I just happen to be point lead on this. So, but let us know what you think of those. Get these aircrafts out there. And thanks for watching.